So using the microsite method, instead of abandoning your whole website, your blog that you've spent a few years building, instead go to a place like GoDaddy or somebody that's got relatively cheap domain names and buy Louisville carpet cleaning. And then you also provide service to Jeffersonville and New Albany and what are some other places? Suburb?
Martinsville.
Where?
Martinsville.
Martinsville? That's Indianapolis. But you know, you've got these other suburban places that you do provide service to. So you buy NewAlbanyCarpetCleaning.com and JeffersonvilleCarpetCleaning.com and the HighlandsCarpetCleaning.com, and so you've got all of these different pages. And because when you buy the domain, you have the option to put up a page in a lot of these places, and you get one page to do everything. Or if you want to put them all on a server, do that, and then throw up a basic WordPress blog. And I say basic because you may want to put blog posts on it later, but also just because, as hopefully everybody knows, you can also build a website with WordPress now. And so, real easy to skin, and you do your basic website, and then you just optimize the bejesus out of that page. You know, what I talked about in step 2, do that a lot. Not a lot, don't stuff your keywords in there, but make sure that you do everything you can to put the keywords in the title, put the keywords in the hyperlinks, use it no more than 2% of the time. All the links should go back to your website. If you do this more than once and you say something like, we also offer carpet cleaning in New Albany, link that up. And carpet cleaning in Jeffersonville, link that up. As you do that, what happens is you're creating an entire web, that's worldwide, but you're creating an entire web of links between these keyword-rich websites, web pages. And all these keyword-rich, heavily linked pages all point back to your site, Carl Cleans Carpets. Well, eventually what's going to happen is that Google is going to rank Louisville Carpet Cleaning as one of the top sites. People are going to come see it. You've written it as an entry page to your main site, and when somebody clicks the link, they're going to be taken to your main site and hopefully your quote page or your contact page, where then your customers and your potential customers can get a hold of you. So we've done that for one client where he has his main website, and he had to kind of shut down a competitor of his who had stolen his site. Took all the pictures, took all the pages, took all the text, took everything, and he was actually in a whole different part of the country, but the guy's site was starting to outrank our clients, and his was the original site. So we started using this strategy, and not only did we push the thief off the front page, but now our other 3 blogs, because we have to write original content for all of these, those are starting to rank. So now our client is like first, when you search for his keywords, 2, 3, and 4 are the three blogs we created for him. Because we have to write, as Jason said, in slide number 1, we have to write good stuff. you were slide number 1. So we have to write good stuff for them, and so we make sure we do that, but we also link back to the guy's site, and we link to the other sites. That's a little more involved. That's, you know, if you're a beginning blogger, you may not want to look at that. Hopefully that didn't just scare you guys. Oh, I can't even write one blog, let alone 4. So that's more the advanced use kind of stuff. And then finally, you can automate all of the promotion. Just don't overdo it. Just, you know, don't rely completely on automation. There are a few things that I do. Right now, for one blog that I've got, and I think it's my personal one, I'm running everything through Twitter feed. And whenever I write a post and the post publishes, Twitter feed picks it up. How many people use Twitter feed or one of the others? A couple of you? How many people use another service? Good, because I'm really not liking Twitter feed. Because this is an old slide and this isn't even correct anymore. They do not push out to LinkedIn. They also don't push out to Ping. Anybody use Ping FM? Ping FM is great because what it does is if I post a message, if I go to ping.fm, I sign up for the account and I tell it all the accounts I want you to push content out to. It kind of shotguns it out. So I tell it that I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I'm on FriendFeed, I'm on LinkedIn. It also does the same kind of pushing out like I said with Posterous. I can push out to Blogger, Tumblr, WordPress, a couple others. There are up to 40 different social networks I can push something out to. So I go into the box, I type it in, type in my message, and if it's going to Twitter, it has to be 140 characters or fewer. And then I hit submit, and it sends it out to everything that I've submitted to. Twitter feed will push to Facebook, Twitter, and maybe LinkedIn if they can get their act together. They used to be able to push out to Ping, and then they started fighting about something months and months ago, and they still haven't fixed it. So on the website, and I checked it last night just in case, but on the website it says, we hope to have this resolved soon. Well, they said that in March, so I don't think they're going to fix anything. But what happens is Twitter feed will come in, it will pick up my blog post, and because I set it up, it will push my stuff out to Facebook, to Twitter, and that's it. And so if I happen to be sleeping at 8 a.m. when my post publishes, it gets promoted for me. I could bypass this channel and use network blogs on Facebook, which I use for my personal blog, except that takes a little bit more work, and if you don't want to do the work, if you're lazy and that's what automation's for, then you can resort to this. But otherwise, I use network blogs on my Facebook account. Now, that's the extent of it. If you belong to a Ning network, Twitter feed doesn't talk to Ning. And there's a network that I belong to called Smaller Indiana. SmallerIndiana.com is like Facebook for grown-ups. And we have blogs, we have discussions, we can post photos and videos, we can do events and invite people to the events, and it's great, and it's been awesome for my networking. And I've gotten to know a lot of people through it, but I still had to hand post my blogs, post my posts. And so that created a lot of extra work for me, because at the time I was trying to post on a daily basis, and I didn't have the extra 5 minutes of my life to go over to Smaller Indiana and post it again. And so I needed a different solution. And so now I've got a system where, yeah, I could go blog to Twitter, but instead I've started using twitterlive.net. And I recommend this over Twitter feed because Twitter feed still isn't getting along with anybody. So I schedule my blog posts, and what happens is twitterlive.net comes in and it scoops up the post. And I've told it, and this Twitter feed works the same way. Come in and pick up the headline. Do not pick up the first sentence of the blog because it always cuts it off. You always tell the people who did that because you've got the start of a sentence and you've got the ellipse saying that we cut this off because we're an automated service. And so I tell it to pick up the headline, pick up the URL, shorten it using bit.ly. Any bit.ly users? For those of you who aren't, bit.ly. And then you can, once you've got your account, you can use it on things like Twitter Live and on Twitter and everything else. So pick up the headline, pick up the URL, shorten it using bit.ly, and send it out not only to Twitter, but send it instead to Ping because they get along, and Ping will send it to everything, including Ning networks, like Smaller Indiana. Anybody use Ning.com? Ning is they just recently switched over to a pay-only service. It's free for users. You got to pay if you're a network administrator. But it is a community building platform. It's like WordPress is a blogging platform. This lets you build communities and online social networks. So you may, if you belong to a social network for your local community, for your particular industry or anything like that, it may be a Ning network. And recently, Ning realized that 75% of our websites are people who are paying us something. So we're going to tell the other 25% to get on board with some kind of paid model, or we're just going to stop supporting that completely. So we had one at my church, and we decided to just shut it down rather than pay what they were asking us to pay because everybody had migrated over to Facebook by then. So, but because I can do this with Ping, I thought, well, why don't I just push stuff out to some of the other networks? And this gets into a little gray hat area. But we've got one client that we do this for where we push out to Identica and Vivo, identity.ca and vivo.com. And the reason for that is because Google will pick up the link and record it as a backlink, although that may have changed because I noticed that Google backlinks have dropped on different sites. But at the time we were doing this, we were sending out that same Twitter post. We were actually getting readers, so we had to make sure that we actually nurtured and grew these networks. But we, we visit the site, we visit Identica, we visit Vivo, and we participate in the conversation, but we're still pushing and automating out. And then I put the delicious and flicker down here because I want it to be symmetrical. Otherwise, I would have had 6, and it just would have looked stupid. And then I would have had to like readjust all the arrows and everything. It took me 30 minutes to do this slide. So, does anybody have any questions? Please have questions because we got like 40 minutes to go. Yeah, Sean.
Can you use the feature within ping.fm where you can pull your RSS feed to distribute it?
I have not. The question was, have I used the feature within Ping where I can pull the RSS feed? I haven't used that. I've seen it, I've read about it a little bit, but I've not explored it too much.
It's kind of clunky.
Is it?
Yeah, it's not. They keep talking about they're going to upgrade it or update it so that it works better. But I've used it in the past. But it's not ideal, but it works.
Okay. Good. Who else has a question? Or comment or joke? None? I know somebody's going to come up here. I was too shy to ask a question. You can ask a question now, it's okay. All right, well, if you're interested, yeah, Sean.
Have you used OnlyWire?
I have not.
I haven't either. Supposedly, I think you can add it as a plugin on the back end, and then it'll automatically submit your post. It'll distribute it across the different social platforms.
Oh,
I haven't used it though.
Has anybody used OnlyWire?
Yeah, I've used it. It actually has a client now that runs on the desktop. So you send it is the server side, and the client does the work for you.
So it's not utilized as a plugin on the back end, or it is?
I think the plugin actually is used just to set up your details for the
Anyone else? All right, well, you can, if you're interested, you can read my humor blog at ericdeckers.com. You can read the work blog at problogservice.com. I'm eDeckers on Twitter. I'm really bad about this. I wrote a book about personal branding, and I always forget to tell people I wrote a book about personal branding. But it's called Branding Yourself. Yeah, you'll see why, if you come to my next presentation, you'll see why I talk about this is important, you should do this. You should not be afraid to do this. I'm still afraid to do this. But it's called Branding Yourself, Using Social Media to Invent or Reinvent Yourself. That drops on the 30th of this month. It's actually a big boy book. It will be in the bookstores. And so Barnes & Noble and Borders will have it. You can pre-order it on Amazon right now. It's going for about $6.50 less than cover price. So if you want, go to ProBlog, look for the link that says buy this, because then I get money if you do that. I get more money. Actually, I get some money, period, because we won't get any money for one. But it's all about how people want to kind of reinvent their personal brand through social media. And then we tell people to get out from behind the computer and spend the last third of the book talking about networking at real networking events or public speaking like this, or getting published in print articles, and then how do you use all that stuff to find a job. So I'll be here for the entire day if anybody's got any questions. Thank you.